This week on Bros, Bibles, and Beer.
It's kind of like using Christianese with somebody who's not a believer, and they're like, come alongside me. What?
Most pastors can't say what they actually believe about certain things because they're in a certain context.
He doesn't have to go back to the cross and re-forgive you each time.
I'm driving down the street in my 6'4".
Hey, man, I know you forgive me. We got to make this right. Come on. You and me are going hunting.
I'm not ready for that, Andy.
No, come on.
Hey, we're good. We're going to be good podcasters.
All right.
We're going to be
Starting
good
now?
podcasters.
I feel like Andy needs to like.
Okay. All right. I'm ready. I didn't like that one.
All right.
I'm just going to be honest. I didn't like that one.
All right. Back-to-back weeks.
Hey, guys, we're back in it, dude.
Back-to-back weeks.
It does feel good. I've missed it. Did you guys miss it?
I did. And I actually missed.
Jeff just shrugged. He's like, I don't know. I've had better.
I confess, as I'm editing a couple things, like I quickly got back into the rhythm of it and did it quickly. It didn't kill too much of my time, and
used the rhythm method.
It was a little fresh. I did use the rhythm method. I pulled out promptly before any issues took place with any of the shorts, and maybe the emphasis on shorts.
Young couples, if you're thinking about using the rhythm method, just know that you are soon to be called parents.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Shout out to a friend of ours. Name starts with a B. Couple of boys. Many years go by, and then whoops, turns out the rhythm method. Talking about Brett.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Their third was a whoopsie, the rhythm method.
That's right. Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Well, 10 years apart or however long.
I don't know anyone who's used the rhythm method who's not a parent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out white people don't have rhythm.
Oh my gosh.
Oh!
Wait, what?
Yeah. Anyway.
Welcome to the show, people.
Oh my gosh.
Already in progress.
We already apologize. Thanks for sticking through the last 3 minutes, and we promise it's going to be cooler.
Jeff.
Yes.
How are you? How's your heart?
Oh yeah. How is your heart?
I am very calm.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm sensing an anchor in that corner of the room.
Are you calm or are you distracted because you're having to do two things at once?
You mean the claw?
Yeah.
You get the claw?
Yeah, because you're producing tonight and you're trying to like have a real conversation.
Yeah. No, the last couple of days since I got back from Mammoth, maybe during the drive back, something just
Broke inside of you?
maybe. I really don't know.
Was it your near-death experience on the mountain?
No, I don't think so. Although,
was it the other person's near-death experience that you caused?
that was, I felt so bad. I came down onto a cat track from a very a run down Mammoth and hit a cat track, which is just a slow, flat spot where you have to
got to keep speed.
Yeah, you got to keep
Maintain.
speed. And all I saw were a bunch of people in front of me with a little lane on the left side. I'm like, I can get through here. And then for some reason,
just maintain 40 miles an hour. I can get through here. That's all I need to do.
Yeah. And it did not go well. Some guy decided to turn left, and then I got around him real quick, and I was like, why did you do that? And the next thing I know, I'm trying to get by the next guy going probably 25 miles per hour, 20 miles per hour, we'll say.
40.
And it was laundry everywhere.
You almost castrated a dude. I mean, your ski went.
It went between.
Right up in between.
I was on my left ski trying to pull my right ski back, and
Zach?
I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm and I'm already on him, and I'm on the inside of his ski, and I just turned my body to try and avoid him. My ski
it was too late.
It snapped off in between his legs, and I just went flying backwards. So it was not good.
And he took your ski, you took his manhood.
He was looking at me.
Everyone took something.
Yeah.
I got up after.
Nobody wins.
I was on the ground for a while, and I got up, and he was on his knees in the distance, and I just raised my hand and I went, "I'm sorry," and he just was like,
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you got the ultimate bless your
Yes,
heart.
you are.
You got the ultimate like. Fuck you, man.
I think he was.
Yeah.
I think he was waiting around for me to say
Give you
sorry.
peace.
Yeah. Like now I can part ways.
That is the equivalent of like if someone cuts you off or does something stupid on the highway, on the freeway, and they at least acknowledge it, like, "Hey, I'm
Right.
sorry, I messed up." Then you're like,
Yeah,
"Okay,
yeah.
it's cool,
Yeah.
it's fine." But when they don't do that, you're like, "Oh, you son of a..."
Yeah.
Or daughter of a.
Yeah, it goes back to our conversation on forgiveness. It makes it much harder to forgive somebody when there's like zero effort and they just, they drive past you with their middle finger in the
When
air.
they're not
One
seeking
version of that.
forgiveness.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
Or like Jeff when he almost kills you and then he skis down the mountain away from you.
That's the.
I'm sorry!
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever hit anybody
And almost
Skiing.
castrated them.
skiing at all. Like that is. I've always been very.
It's always
conscious-
been in cars that you've hit people. That's always been.
Wait, what? I've never hit
skiing.
anybody.
Never skiing, only in cars.
I will say I came up behind this whole situation. I was much further back because I'm a little bit slower than the skiers in the group and I'm on a snowboard. So I need speed for the cat track and I'm flying down and I just see a bloodbath. I see bodies everywhere. I don't know what's what. I don't know who's involved. And
Babies crying.
I somehow squeeze by on the left side,
Dogs and cats.
living together, mass hysteria. And I see our friend Matt, my favorite ginger, Matt, and he's standing there and he's in our group. And if he's standing there, it means
Something happened. And
Yeah.
Right.
we're connected.
Turns
Oh, yeah.
out Jeff was on the floor and you buried the lead. No helmet, Jeff. Is this going to make you wear a helmet next time?
No, I will not be wearing helmets.
Dude, legit. I'm like, okay, do we need to call ski patrol? And Matt at first was like, I'm unsure. He's like, let's see how Jeff does. But still no
Ski
helmet.
Patrol for Jeff?
Yeah. Because no helmet. He hit the back of his head on the.
Dude, why don't you like wearing a helmet?
It's
What's your
so
problem?
uncool.
Why are you worried about what other people think?
It has nothing to do
This is
with
a trick
that.
question. My question alone, no matter how you respond to it, there's no proper answer.
I'm not a helmet guy. Not skiing. If I was snowboarding, that would change things because snowboarders fall a lot in a certain way. They can snap forward, they can snap back. I've seen, when you're going up on the snowboard jumps and stuff like that, you can take some massive falls, but you don't. And skis, a lot of times you're going sideways, and on snowboard, you catch an edge. You're not falling sideways on your shoulder. You're falling on your face or the back of your head. And so
It's
I think,
true.
most of the people I grew up with, I can't think of one person skiing that wore a helmet. And I guess there was people that
Because they're all dead now. They also didn't wear
No.
seatbelts. Because seatbelts didn't exist back then. Did you know that? Cars didn't used to have seatbelts.
I did. There was a snowboarder.
Not
that,
to me when I was riding with my grandpa. He's like,
I
just
did
get in the
a-
back of the truck.
I did have. There was a snowboarder that I would ski with. This was many years ago. But she only had one arm, and she was a fantastic snowboarder.
And had she had a
no
helmet,
helmet.
she would have had that arm.
I think that's 100%
She would
true.
have 2 arms.
I don't think you can argue
That
with
is-
She lost her arm
that
because
is so terrible.
she didn't wear a helmet.
That is so awful.
We're all old enough
This is awful.
It is awful. It's
We're
terrible.
all old
It's
enough
tragic.
to remember my grandpa. You guys don't remember my grandpa, but I remember my grandpa driving us in his little Toyota truck,
Says
tiny
pop,
truck.
Pop up.
My mom's dad.
Did he call it Toyota?
No, did I just say that?
No, he didn't. But
No.
I'm just curious because older folks call it Toyotas.
No, he was a Toyota. And on the freeway in the back, and it was long enough to go where that wasn't a problem. Like I'm probably like 4 or 5, and I'm with
Oh, yeah.
my older cousins
4
that are.
or 5 years old in the back.
Yeah, but my cousins are there. They're older, and we're just sitting in the back of a truck for not long distances on the freeway, but I don't know how short the distance needs to be where it's okay in this scenario. But back then, it was like you just did that.
Hey, Zach, don't stand up. At least that much.
Luckily, I was small enough; it didn't matter.
It's fine.
All right, real quick, is the video recording?
I sure hope so. I hope so.
It says it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my job.
All right. Can we dive into a story before we get into something
let's
real?
Do it. No, let's go.
All right. The cuts. I'm already.
I don't know.
Okay, we'll edit that out.
I don't know.
Cuffing.
Can we
totally
dive into this
just-
story? Maybe
my
we can't.
tongue.
Maybe we can't dive into this story.
Can you read that headline for me?
Yeah. Cussing Pastor Thaddeus Matthews dies at 67. Wife says he repented and made amends.
I started that out. My lisp got, but the cuffing pastor Thaddeus. That is the worst headline for a lisp, for a classic lisp. Thaddeus Matthews. All right, you said it. Controversial leader of the Naked Truth Liberation and Empowerment Ministries in Memphis. I rate that ministry title. That's like a 9.5 out of 10.
NTA.
I'm with you. Crazy title. That's a big one.
It's
You're trying to make an acronym.
I'm seeing what the acronym is there. It's
Popularly known as
And
the
he's
Cussing
counting
Pastor.
syllables.
Natayams.
He was 67, died at a hospital on Monday. This was on February 25th. No more sickness, no more worries. You said you were tired and wanted to rest.
Wait,
His wife said.
Today's February 25th.
Yeah, the story is from the 25th. Today.
Okay.
As people listen to this, they can look back and figure out what Monday. This is a Tuesday, so the 24th. That's math. I was told there's no math, and I just mathed. Okay. Peace and blessings. The wife said, we just want to thank you. Matthews, who defended hosting a twerking contest at his church in 2019, has attracted millions of viewers from all over the world with his messages punctuated by profanity online.
I thought he was the cussing pastor, not the twerking pastor. I thought that was a different guy.
Well, what if you're like cheering it on with like, woo, hell yeah, good twerking, that's the shit. I don't know.
Keep going.
In an interview with the Christian Post in 2018, he said he didn't really give. Oh, they blanked out the letters. I'm just going to say it. They didn't give a damn. You guys okay? You going to be okay? I just said damn. I don't give a damn what traditional Christians thought of his choice words. I find no reason to justify that. I'm a fisher of men. I go to people on their level. I believe in the words of Paul, it's become all things to all people. And you have to get past the cussing to get the message. The cussing has drawn the attention of millions around the country. Apparently, it's drawn yours because you're calling me, the late pastor told the Christian Post.
Oh, so it's a gimmick.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that our gimmick?
Yeah. I feel like we're just being honest. Maybe he's just being who he is, it can be a gimmick, and he could be.
It sounds like he described it as marketing. You're just tuning in because I'm cussing.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
But he's trying to go to people on their level. So he's going to the people that cuss and don't care about it.
But he's also getting to the people who cuss and do care about it.
Yeah. That's a side benefit. Maybe that's the icing on the cake, is that it's the Howard Stern effect. People love him or they hate him. They're listening either way. There's a difference between cussing and cursing, as people say. This is him speaking again. The words that we use today, like motherfucker, shit, damn, were not words that were used in biblical times. So I don't have an issue with the cussing, and the people that listen to me don't have an issue with the cussing, and I'm not trying to justify it to the traditional churchgoer, the preachers. I kind of like that, if I'm being honest, right off the cuff. I don't know anything about this guy besides this article.
I think you mean right off the cuss.
Thank you. I know that a lot of people thought he was playing God. No, he was playing with God because of his choice of vocabulary, but I know that he loved God, said Melanie Matthews, which is his wife.
Wait, Andy, did you say
Off the cuss?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to take a moment there. I'm like, wait, did you corrected him? But yes, we're talking about
Comedy.
yeah.
You're not even drinking. I've had plenty of beers before this podcast even started.
All right, we'll see. Maybe as this conversation develops, Jeff's going to make an argument for everyone wearing helmets all the time. I don't know. Maybe is this residual?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean,
Did you almost call me a Riri?
If you're a Riri, I think we're all Riri.
That's true.
We 3 Riris. Repenting and basically saying, okay, so she noted that he had recently decided he no longer wanted to be known as a cussing pastor and had started to repent and making amends with people he impacted.
But what's he repenting for? Is he repenting because he's like, it was a bad choice to cuss?
Yeah.
Or it was bad because I didn't like how people reacted? You know what I mean?
It sounds like it's...
Does a different sound? You get the difference?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel like it's maybe he just got tired of putting up with the way people were reacting, and so he's like, all right, I don't want to be known for this. Is my legacy going to be the guy that cussed or the guy that brought people to Jesus or helped people see Jesus?
Oh, man.
And maybe it's both.
Feels like he's cussing out of both sides of his mouth.
But I mean, we do a version of this. We're not cussing to be cool or edgy.
Not usually.
Not usually.
Is that cool? Are we still in junior high?
Yeah. No, but some of the comments we get are like, oh yeah, another group of Christians trying to be relevant by cussing. Like that's happened
Right.
along the years of doing this podcast.
Especially when Scott was on it. Lots of cussing.
Yeah.
At Scott, probably.
Yeah.
Mostly
From you.
Directed
Yeah.
to Scott.
And Scott's cussing directed at me was always internal, but I could see it in his eyes. I knew it was happening.
Yeah, the Lord saw his heart.
Yeah. As well as me, as I.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you ever feel conflicted anytime about sharing our podcast with somebody knowing that they're swearing on the podcast?
No, not at all.
I've had that a few times.
I feel that. Actually,
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't want people to know that I cuss.
No, it's I think it's because usually I will prejudge that person and go, I don't know if you're going to understand what's going on. And I think you'll get hung up on this.
It's kind of like using Christianese with somebody who's not a believer, and they're like, come alongside me. What? Like, that's weird. You're weird. Like, that type of thing, where they hear cussing and they're like, they just make a judgment of like, you're a different type of person.
Yeah, like
Ooh. Christianese for me is the cussing for most Christians. It throws me.
Yeah.
It throws me. It's like,
yeah.
now you're speaking your own.
that's what you're focused on.
You're speaking a language that if somebody's visiting that doesn't speak that language is going to feel outcast and weird.
Well, I think some of maybe what it is, and sorry if we're like, this is a little too introspective in our own podcast right now, but
It's very deep. Very deep.
Wait, hold on. Let me take his sleeping pill. I don't know why I would do that. It takes a while to kick in.
I don't know why you do that either.
No,
But I'll give you
I'm
one.
just trying to say something dumb.
Actually, I
and mission
already
accomplished.
I already put one in your drink. It's fine.
Oh, good. We
already-
talked about that
No,
before
I
we
gave
got
my
here.
drink to Jeff.
I kind of forgot what I was going to say.
Shit.
I guess the point that I'm trying to make is if someone is tuning in and they haven't heard this before, right? Like, maybe this is polarizing, and maybe listener for you, if you made it through 28 minutes so far, and good job, way to hang in there. But the reality is that you can, like, we get to hold these things in tension, right? We're people who care deeply about our faith, and we are okay with being humans as well, and not like teetotalers, the teetotalers of life, so to speak.
Yep.
Is that coming through? Does that make sense?
I think so.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I feel a little stuck in like trying to talk to a listener, but also talk to you guys.
Just talk to us.
I know.
That's fine. But I know what you mean.
Okay, hold on just a second. Those guys are weird, right?
I know what you mean about we just a couple Sundays ago, Andy and I both played, and somebody came up and say, "Hey, I heard you're the guy." To Andy, I heard you're the guy to talk to about podcasts.
Oh,
I heard you have a podcast.
From stage, I was announcing that there was a guy that was coming to teach a class at the church.
Yeah.
And this guy has like 2 million followers on his podcast. And
Oh
I
my
made some side
gosh.
comment because I didn't prepare because I was giving announcements. I was like, oh, that's almost as much as my podcast has.
Right.
Nice.
And then that guy came up. He's like, "Hey, podcast.
The only
I've
problem-
been listening." And I looked at the guy. I was like, "Oh God, you don't seem like the guy who should be listening to our podcast."
And when he first said it, my initial thought was like, I'm sorry. I just said, I'm sorry.
Well, I wasn't going to go down solo, so I saw Zach. I was like, "Well, actually, Zach started the podcast. I fully deferred to you.
Get over
To be
here.
like, you should, if you have, I sense that you might have a problem. You should talk to Zach about
No,
it."
but really,
You don't like the podcast.
but it turned out we're both self-conscious. It turned out he just is thinking about starting his own,
yeah.
and he's looking
Yeah.
for tips.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't even really listen, or whatever.
Right.
And we gave him all the worst ones. We're like, you should try to edit every single thing all the time and don't start with any ideas in your mind and just launch right away with no podcast in your pocket.
But I think at our best, our podcast is a place where we try to be representations of ourselves. If we weren't presenting, we're not.
Wait, who
So-
are you talking to?
I'm talking to us, and I'm just talking on the podcast. Like,
I know. I'm calling you out because I just got called out, and it's a good thing.
Well,
We
you-
should just talk to us.
yeah, but okay, then tell me if you disagree. When we're at our best, I feel like we can be natural and cuss. We're not worried about
Yes.
perception or anything like that. We're not worried about playing too well. Because we're believers, we have to make sure we don't offend anybody. We have to check all the theological boxes. We don't do that. We're not going to pass any theological tests or spirituality tests.
We'll get C's in them, though.
On most of them, yeah. Well, you guys will. You guys might even get B's. But I think you can be paralysis if you start a podcast or you're in ministry or whatever. Like most pastors can't say what they actually believe about certain things because they're in a certain context. And I don't think that's wrong. I'm not saying that's wrong because we've talked about cussing and my kids and the conversations I've had with them. And I hope on this podcast for all of us, if you hear us tearing somebody down, or if one of us is using what is considered foul language to hurt people, that's a line that shouldn't be crossed. And that's when I want to repent of that. But saying a cuss word to emphasize a point, and that's what this guy gets into, is like, I'm emphasizing things, and certain people talk a certain way and they would never come to church because they feel like they can't be heard or seen. And so that's a market that needs to be tapped. And I think that's a legitimate concern. Whether this guy was a gimmick about it or not, I don't know, because I don't know enough about him. But certainly
There is a fine line of trying to figure out, at what point each of us, speaks a certain way in just our own normal life, right?
True. Yeah.
Outside of certain scenarios. And then there are times and places where, I don't know, you'll check yourself, being appropriate. So
Certainly. Absolutely.
and so from the
Depending
front,
on the setting,
yeah,
Right.
you're being appropriate. But so
we go on a mammoth trip once a year. It's craziness.
sure.
It's craziness. We're consequences. Take your shorts down, sit in the snow. You lost 3 times in a row
Yeah.
in the card game.
Nothing that our wives would be overly concerned with.
No, right.
no.
I'm going to say overly.
But if we were at an office get together,
Generally disapproving, but not concerned.
we're at a company gathering, it's like, what's
Jeff, why are your pants off in the snow? Yeah, that's probably not going to work. But at the same time, and maybe that's what you're trying to say is how can you try to ride that fine line in between, look, I'm being genuine, I'm sharing with you in the best way I know how to communicate this thing that's going on, and being so in an authentic way, but I'm trying to also be appropriate to the situation.
Right.
And the location. Maybe it's like stand-up comedy where dry bar comedy is a thing that's on the rise, which is these people in Utah that it's basically a clean comedy event, and they're trying to get comedians, some of which are normally clean and a lot of which don't necessarily have clean sets, and they have to go and do a short special that's clean.
Yeah.
And so in that context, they got to get more creative. Maybe cussing sometimes it's easier to get the point across when you're trying to emphasize something.
Yeah, it's lazy sometimes.
Yeah,
It
I
can
think
be.
you're looking for a cheap laugh.
Yeah. Sometimes. But there's a lot of clean comedians that are clean and they're good. And there's some clean comedians that I feel like are grifters where they're just saying clean stuff to like to let some people that hate cussing laugh at some things that aren't actually funny. But it's just, maybe that's not fair. I'm shitting on them a little bit, but everyone, that's the thing. It's subjective. So for some people, the clean stuff is required because they don't want to hear any cussing, and that's understandable. But a good, clean comedian, I'm more impressed with because I don't mind bad words when they're funny and it's making a point.
They're not just inserting them in an F-bomb to like, and people actually,
I don't like
they're almost programmed to laugh at it.
Yeah. There's a pace to it that I don't like bad words when it's a comma, when an effing is said as like the
lazy.
or
That's
the
lazy.
like it, instead. When I say like, which I just did, which is why I just rolled the eyes at myself.
I thought you were going to do an
if
F-bomb
I said
to see if we
effing instead of
F-bomb.
like,
I thought you were going to do
on
an
this-
F-bomb to see if we laugh.
Anyways, but that's
Or
where
we get, I think we all understand, depending on the context, you and the environment and the feel, you get a vibe from people.
Yeah. And for some people, there's never going to be a context where any salty language is going to be okay. And that's fine.
a sin. It's a sin.
Our podcast is not for you. but
Foul, dirty language. It's sinning.
I don't know. I think sometimes it's a sin. I don't know if it always is.
I would feel bad if I came across Jesus and he dropped an F-bomb and be like, oh man, I thought he was better than that.
I'd be like, what's he so pissed about? Well,
dude,
yeah.
no, but you go into the embrace of your creator and he's like, Jeff, I love you so fucking much.
Like,
Well done.
oh. Is there a
You,
second
you
level
walk
of
away
heaven?
like, can I go downstairs a little bit? You just said effing.
That feels like a lot. Feels like more than I'm ready for.
But cussing,
Well, didn't Paul say it? I consider all things shit compared to
essentially,
that's the equivalent.
I think it gets translated as filthy rubbish.
I
Okay.
think the closest is shit.
All right.
But yeah, it's there. I promise you, the disciples were using, when you have a zealot, a tax collector, all and everything
Fisherman?
in
Are
between.
you kidding me?
Dude.
Have
Yeah.
you ever met a dock worker?
Yeah. So get off your high horses. And cussing changes throughout time. So whatever their version of a cuss word.
That interests me less, to be honest. But
Really?
it's like, what's the intent behind it?
I remember, can I give you kind of a crude example? And I'm
Yeah.
going to use crude language, so skip forward. The first time I think I said, that sucks in front of my mom. Because
Did she clutch her pearls?
she did. And because in her mind, instantly, she's thinking sucking dick. Like,
Oh, goodness.
I think that's where it came from.
yeah. Yeah. But now it just,
No pun intended.
now my mom might say that word like, oh man, this situation sucks. My mom wouldn't say that.
Whoa.
But she wouldn't say that. Hi, Mom. I love you. Already, she's probably turned off because
Mrs.
we've said
Crater.
she does listen to this sometimes.
Well, when she hears a cuss word, it is off.
But when
It's
any kid says that sucks, none of them are thinking about the actual act of fellatio. But that's the etymology of it. It doesn't mean that now. Things change over time. So again, there's no right or wrong answer. Your mileage may vary. Everyone drink. Things change. Things change. Just be nice. Use your cuss words nicely.
Yeah.
You need more bubbly.
I think in my mind, cuss words land in like two really useful areas. One is for fun, and the second is for heavy emphasis.
Yeah. But never trying to obliterate a person emotionally, for the most part.
I don't think so. I don't think I've done that.
But okay, to close this out, he didn't want to be known as the cussing pastor. He said more recently before he passed, well, I'm guessing before he passed. Otherwise, this would be really cool.
Oh ghost story.
I make a post like he cusses during some of his posts, but I don't preach and cuss. Not that I find anything wrong with the words. Words are just words and simple expletive. You don't know the difference in cussing and cursing. When you say that I curse, you're saying that I'm dealing in witchcraft. The curse and cussing is different. I don't apologize for cussing. I'm not putting a spell on anyone. Before also claiming that Jesus was a cusser like him, but he just used different words. And he said, there's no viral or any video of me preaching and cussing.
Oh.
For the last 3 years, I've been doing my Sunday morning right here where I'm sitting virtually. Those that watch me on Sunday mornings would tell you I don't cuss on Sunday mornings. So there you go.
Monday's cuss day.
May Thaddeus Matthews rest in power.
I didn't like what he said about words that don't mean anything. That part, I'm like, dude, that's not true.
Words can incredibly build up and tear down. And I think you can use quote unquote cuss words for both.
Yeah. You don't have to use cuss words. And
you don't have to.
And you can use non-cuss words for either of
Correct.
those too.
Yeah.
Like this one. I'm so disappointed in you.
That's worse. I'd rather hear you say GTFO than Andy looking at me from on high, from his 6'5" to my 6'4", down his glasses. Zach.
I'm so disappointed in you.
It sounded like an old rap song.
Like how old? Like 1800s?
6'5"? I can't remember.
Wait, what do you think rap songs are?
Just NBA players reading their stats.
Things rhyming.
245, 6'5", 245.
I'm driving down the street in I was thinking my 6. You said 6'5". Yeah. Yes.
6'4".
This is 6'4", yeah.
Sorry, I'm 6'5". It doesn't work anymore.
Can you try to rap that one more time, though? Just isolate it. Go ahead.
I'm driving down the street in my 6'4", and then I'm going to stop right there.
Okay.
Do you know what the next words are?
Yes.
I do too.
That's why he stopped.
Yeah.
Because words matter.
I'm jogging. Oh, okay. Well, good stuff.
I hope he did truly believe that words do matter. Because if not, why are you even being a pastor?
I think he did. We're catching one little quote where I'm sure if you talk to him, like, he would acknowledge words matter, which is why he uses some of the words he does so that people that aren't churched in the traditional sense will be drawn to, like, wow, dude, Todd, former pastor.
In his last days, let it fly.
He did a little bit, but also he told me a story once of being on a plane where just small talk was happening. The guy was talking to him and cussing like a sailor, essentially, or said a couple words and then turns to Todd like, "What do you do?" And Todd's like, I think right. Todd's like, I hate telling people what I am.
I'm an effing pastor.
That would be the right answer. It would just totally disarm the situation because as soon as he says I'm a pastor, it's like conversation over. The guy shuts down. Whereas before, there's a real connection which is a bummer. Like a literal life change can happen if there's that connection made. But then he has the perception that pastor equals like, nope, this guy's perfect and he never uses salty language. And, it's not always the case. So.
Salty language. Speaking of salty, because you grew up in a Catholic faith, you might not remember this. Do you remember Salty?
The singing songbook?
Yes.
Whoa. Timely reference.
Have patience. Don't be in such a hurry.
Join in, Jeff.
When you get impatient.
Why'd you start in this key?
You only start to worry. Remember that God is patient too. And stop to think about when others have to wait for you.
I'm speechless.
That one in a Music Machine. Remember that one?
I do, but not the lyrics.
Music Machine, Music Machine,
Yeah.
That's the sound that you've ever seen.
Salty. I think he came to our church.
Put something in it and a song comes out. It goes forward. bum, bum. Dude, we were so stupid as kids. We would go for anything.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's almost as bad as Jeff's stick and hoop. That's how old you are. Stick and hoop. We're running down the street with the stick and hoop. Yeah.
Or the
you all have made me so anxious from listening to these
or
songs.
the Brian Regan bit, like back in my day, kind of a thing. We used to play "Chew the Bark Off the Tree." Well, that might not be Brian Regan, but it sounds like something he would say.
Oh man.
All right.
I was playing football once in what I thought was an open area and went for a pass and hit the tree.
You literally ran
right.
right into it.
Yeah, I chewed that bark.
Yeah, but unlike Jeff, he was wearing a helmet. Good job.
No. I'm not laughing at that. Not laughing at that stuff.
We were filming in flag football.
I still to this day remember what that felt like and going like, dude, if this is, I think it was like maybe 11 or 12 years old. I was like, man, if this is what full contact football feels like, I am out. But there's no way that anybody matches up to a hard ass tree.
Nope.
No.
I was down quickly.
Not even the gangster that Jeff referenced earlier
No,
when you were rapping. Nobody matches up to a tree.
no one does. Okay, hey, do you want to hear about some feedback, or do you want to talk about something else?
Let's do feedback.
Okay.
Jeff wants to do some feedback.
Feedback as a palate cleanser.
Okay. This is from one of your shorts.
Do you want
One
me to
of
get the
our-
laptop just in case?
Yeah, that's good. This is from the short, which was who knows what it's from.
We're going to call this episode Winging It.
Okay. It was your most recent shirt where you were talking about Jesus didn't need to die.
Jesus didn't need to die. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Do you want to quickly explain what you were saying in that clip?
Essentially, God did not need Jesus to die in order to forgive people, but perhaps Jesus needed to die in order to show people what God is like. And that's way more concise than I did in the podcast or the short. The short I made sound way more articulate. I was rambling and umming and liking all over the place. But anyways.
Okay.
Yep.
Matthew 9:53. I'm impressed that we got Matthew, only the 953rd Matthew. Feels like there's a lot more of those in this world.
I agree.
He's early Matthew. Don't use Jesus. That is a hippie sun god who teaches people to break Sabbath, eat pork, and do emoji Christmas tree, emoji Santa Claus, emoji Halloween, or jack-o'-lantern, emoji bunny. Use Yeshua, his real name.
Yeshua is what most people would say. Or Yeshua.
Zach, stop cussing.
That's the thing. To this guy,
Who the fuck is this asshole?
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Oh, sorry. Instead, use the name Ox.
oh, this one is so good.
412.
Keep going.
Yawn.
Yun.
543. Hosea.
No,
Two.
the H is silent.
Hosea.
It's Hosea.
Jeremiah 23. Jesus is the name of Baal, the abomination of desolation, the lawless one in 2 Thessalonians 2.
All right, this guy might be in a cult. Anytime somebody uses Yeshua instead of Jesus, I can't help it. I'm just like, all right, I might be wrong, but I check out. You're whack.
Thankfully, I used Yeshua. He also responds by saying breaking Saturday Sabbath is sin, eating pork, lobster, shrimp, and doing Christmas Easter. Wait a minute, when's the last time you did Christmas Easter?
Actually, this year I did it for the first time, and I didn't hate it.
Wait, well, I don't understand. You did Christmas and Easter at the same time?
Yeah, it was fun. It was like, I mean, what do you got?
Birth
You got,
and
like,
death on the same day?
yeah, it's the mystery of the incarnation, Jeff.
Wait, what do you mean you did that?
I'm lying.
Oh,
Oh my God.
okay.
I'm
The-
joking.
The next one is from House of Jacob. Wake up. It says, "You don't know the Messiah if you don't keep the commandments."
Wait, hold on. Back to Matthew. All of his lists about like following Jesus, it's all Old Testament stuff, which, okay, leave that alone. Go ahead.
So, okay, then maybe the follow up is, hey, Matthew 9:53. Yes, all of those things are good. However, God clearly has a time and a place where He's presenting things to His people to be able to help them with what they need at the time that they need it. So, people in the Old Testament, that culture, that group of people needed the 10 Commandments. They needed the law, and then Jesus came to not to abolish the law, but to fulfill it.
Fulfill.
So,
So you're saying House of Jacob, wake up?
House of Jacob, wake up is the next person. You don't know the Messiah if you don't keep the commandments. If you don't keep the commandments. 1 John 2:3-7. All your churches are lying about literally everything.
Whoa, everything.
Grace is conviction to obey, not unconditional favor.
That's literally the opposite of the word grace. This is my point with the forgiveness thing is Christians don't know what grace and forgiveness means. It literally means unconditional, what does he say? Favor.
He said unconditional favor.
Yeah.
It gets a little thorny here, though.
Favor is weird. I don't say it's favor.
Yeah, it's not favor.
But literally it's like you don't deserve it, but you get it, is what grace is. Like literally undeserved favor is what it means.
Would you disagree if I said it was unconditionally available to you?
You're changing the definition of grace slightly in my book, and I will allow it because I'm a very forgiving podcaster.
Yeah, you know where I'm going, right?
Yeah.
It's not the first time I've gone there.
No.
But like the idea that Jesus forgave us at the cross.
Yes.
That moment in time happened. He doesn't have to go back to the cross and re-forgive you each time. And so whether at each point in anyone's life, it is not, do I need to re-encounter, or do I need Jesus to go back to the cross and do this again? Or is it just that I need to recognize and accept what has already been done?
Yeah, and incomplete, but I'm relatively happy with the prodigal son motif of the
It's prodigal, but whatever.
yeah, the father didn't not forgive his kid until he came home, but the kid is not going to experience the love of the father when the kid separates himself from the father. So the forgiveness was always there.
Our job is to receive forgiveness, not to generate forgiveness.
Crudely, yes. I hate the word that you use, job, but whatever. Let's move on. Let's keep going. Keep plugging.
We don't. Okay.
Or not. Or go. Or push back. Hammer me. It's good podcasting. Should I take my shirt off? Where's the baby oil? I got some ditties.
Let me get the close up.
That is. I recently was relearning the definition of the word pedantic, and you nailed it. Hung up on unimportant details.
Well, yeah, I thought I was moving on from unimportant details, but
You tried to, but I pulled you back in.
so who's pedantic now?
I caught your.
I still don't know what pedantic means, even though you just said that.
Yeah, it's getting stuck on unimportant details.
Well,
You didn't have a comma on the.
if I didn't do that, then who would I be?
Okay, so there was another one that on one of my shorts, and mine was I think the short was particularly about, well, YouTube decided it wanted to take a dump and not work. Thank you, YouTube.
Oh, when you're like people that are Christians that don't act like it. They say they're Christians, but they don't.
Yeah,
And then the people that wouldn't say they're Christians, but they act better. They act more Christian than Christians.
exactly.
And
So
your frustration with
right,
that.
yeah, you said it. So the person responded and said, "You can do bad things," and the person is too true to be good.
I'm here for that.
That's their
Too true to be good is
Name.
their screen name.
Yep.
Pedantic.
They said you can do wrong.
That didn't work.
No. You can do bad things and then go confess and then do it again. do bad things, confess, then go do it again.
And then confess, and then do it again.
It's going to happen.
And so I did respond to this person on YouTube, and I said, "Hey, how does that work?" And and I'm having to paraphrase because it's not working on my Fire Pad, whatever. And they responded and said, "I don't know. I'm an atheist."
Oh yeah,
That is the
okay. I have it
best.
here. Is there a point where that no longer works? And then,
Oh yeah, that's what I said. Is there a point where that no longer works of going back and asking for forgiveness?
and then he said, "I have no idea how that works. I'm an atheist," which I appreciate. But he's not wrong. I think a lot of people
that he doesn't know. Yeah,
he doesn't know.
that part's sure.
And well, I think where he is right in that it puts him in line with a lot of non-Christians where they see the repentance and forgiveness, the cheap grace is what they're essentially calling out, is the Christian that's like, well, I apologize for that, so now I get to be back on the board of this church because I touched somebody that was underage or I had an inappropriate contact, but I said I'm sorry and I asked for forgiveness and I got it, so now I get to be back. It's like this cheap version that gives Christianity a bad name to atheists, to cheap atheists that want to be pedantic.
How many people?
Did I just do it right?
No. How many
You're
people?
missing it every time.
All right, keep going. I think I might have gotten close there.
Hey, when's the last time you confessed to God a sin and asked for forgiveness?
I thought we weren't going to talk about real things tonight.
Well, you don't have to say what it is, but can you remember last time that you went through that process?
God, my name's Jeff. I'm sorry I didn't wear a helmet. I almost destroyed my temple. I shall wear a helmet from now on.
Stop making me squirm.
You must have destroyed
Are you
someone
okay?
else's temple too.
Are you sore? Is your
I
body
am
sore?
I am sore.
The way you're sitting is like,
You know what that
you don't
is?
want to move.
That's sin from your pride from not wearing a helmet.
I think it's judgment.
if you would have worn a helmet, your ribs would be okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Andy, I want you to open this can and give it a pour. See what happens.
What is that?
Friends, if you are ever in South Orange County and you have a chance, you should go to our friendly neighborhood brewery called Docent. And it's in San Juan Capistrano and in San Clemente. San Clemente is the new home of our Bros, Bibles, and Beer Worldwide podcast. And they do have delicious beers. And I feel like they've done, in the last 3 or 4 years, up their game. It's solid. It competes.
When I compare their beers against anybody, what are considered the best beers, IPAs, hazies, pilsners, whatever it might
It
be,
competes, right?
I'm like, they are on it.
Yeah. I was worried because before I poured this like a chump on the first one because Zach spilled everywhere and he blamed it on the can. So I was like, oh man, I better be careful when I pour it from here. And I poured like a chump and I have a ton of foam, but then I poured your glass, Zach, and it poured just fine.
Now, in my defense, that's a different can than the one I poured, right?
It looks exactly the same.
But it is an actual different can.
It is technically different.
Is it
but
possible that the can I got was defective?
it's like saying that basketball that I shot out of the bucket of basketballs, that's the problem. It's not my ability to shoot a 3-pointer.
Okay, well, that's pedantic. Let's
That is
move on.
that actually
You got it.
That one is pedantic. You're
Just the little things, Zach.
Okay.
Just
All
the
right, give
little
us a
thing.
little bit of Mr. Dave Millsap.
Number one
He's-
listener, Dave Millsap. Wah, wah, wah.
If he's not number one listener, he's the number one commenter.
I love it.
Dave, we are not going to read your entire comment on the full episode 254.
But we'll welcome people to go read it
Go read it on YouTube.
and respond.
Yeah, we will read part of it,
Okay.
but we appreciate the time you put into it. And I assure you that where's my camera? We read the comments.
We do. And this is dude, we've talked about this, man. I love the fact that you pushed us to go to YouTube, even though it increased the effort that it takes for us to do every single podcast, like from a technical perspective. But one of the things that we've craved for so long is some sort of listener feedback, and the YouTube platform makes it so easy. And so when people give feedback, it's like, this is cool. I like it.
Yep.
I have one request before you start that.
Yeah.
Is that gimme?
Yes.
Is there any, like a half an ounce at the bottom of that?
Yeah.
I will drink that.
You just want the big can?
I'm going to drink that big can.
You want me to
All right.
drink this dragon's milk and you can put it in that?
Oh, this is perfect. It's just 1 ounce.
All right.
Just so
Wait,
I'm
hold on. Switch it back to your camera and go ahead and drink it.
Yeah.
okay.
Swoosh it around.
Hey, shout out to Casey Moncton, who
Casey.
runs that place.
Was Casey there tonight?
No.
Yes, this is
But we love Casey.
Tuesday's his weekend.
All right, here we go. Dave Millsap, 647. Several interesting topics I want to comment on. I'll break into different comments. Quote unquote, forgiveness often seems conditional. ... I think this comes back to the heart, though. That's a quote from Zach. This topic of forgiveness is more than... this topic of forgiveness, more than most, served as the catalyst of my deconstruction. Forgiving someone of a debt is easy and quantifiable in a legal or financial context, either an amount of money or goods or time for restitution as decided by ordinances or a judge. However, the offense against a person or ego is the one being discussed. The personal offense is more unique as it involves emotional nuances that are not quantifiable. It involves an offense to an ego. Zach would say an offense. The one whose ego was offended, Zach would say ego, was offended, has all the power and ability to forgive.
Let's not talk about the pedantic things.
Because it is an internal Yeshua. Both work, by the way. The one whose ego was offended has all the power and ability to forgive. I forgive you, Zach, because it is an internal assessment of themselves towards another. Let me pause there really quickly. So I'm going to read the last couple sentences and you guys respond to this. Personal offense is more unique as it involves emotional nuances that are not quantifiable. It involves an offense to an ego. The one whose ego was offended has all the power and ability to forgive because it's an internal assessment of themselves towards another.
Yep.
Okay. For me, that begs the question, are there scenarios where I get to forgive on someone's behalf? Am I not in any situation always the one who gets to forgive if the thing is towards me? If it is directionally towards me. If it's financial, Jeff, you owe me $10. I forgive you. You don't owe me $10 anymore. I get to make that choice. Jeff, you insulted my wife. All right, I forgive you. Same sort of thing. This is ego, this is quantifiable and qualitative and quantitative. In both scenarios, I'm the one who holds the cards of deciding to offer forgiveness.
Yes.
Yeah, and one of them is simpler, the other one's more complex, i.e. it might result in, hey, I forgive you for insulting my wife, but that was the third time, so I don't want you around here anymore. You're forgiven, but you can take your presence elsewhere. If you keep doing this kind of a thing.
I forgive you for the $10, but this is the third time that you've not paid back $10.
So I'm not going to give you $10 anymore.
So I'm not going to loan you $10 anymore.
Yeah. It's the same thing, and it can ramp up depending on the offense and the wound when emotions get involved, and like that's like real trauma and abuse is, I'm not going to be able to put a button on it very well, but forgiving that is so complicated. And there's not a moment like the $10 thing is an easy moment.
$10 is easy, but how many relationships have been ruined over finances or business deals gone bad or partnerships?
Right. But oftentimes it's not just the money. It's like betrayal, or you lied to me about this, or you said you were going to do this in this agreement and you didn't do it. So it's not just the money. Sometimes it is just the money.
Sometimes it's just
but
the money.
Oftentimes it's the relationship is fractured because there was a betrayal of some sort, or a lie, or a
or misexpectations.
Yes. So, yeah, it's good to ponder.
I don't know. Dave, I read that as Dave presenting that as these like very black and white things. Hey, one is towards the ego. One is like this very quantifiable mathematical equation. And you can think about these things differently. I'm like, I don't know if it is that clean.
And he did mention deconstruction, which my mind instantly goes to, is it possible the God that he believed in, or maybe reluctantly believes in now, it was a God that needs something in return in order to forgive. And so deconstructing
do you think recognition of forgiveness is the thing in return? Is that considered a thing in return?
I feel like we have discussed this before.
Last episode. Well, it's based on the feedback is based on that. So yeah,
right. But I think we've talked about this. I mean, many times in terms of is somebody.
There's only so many things to talk about. We have 255 episodes. We've covered most of things, so we've got to start circling back.
Yeah, I think this is
these things are eternal.
This is the seventh time. We need to. I forgive you guys for bringing this up. This is
Forgiveness already existed. I'm just going to accept it.
Well, I just lifted my beer and his tablet fell down. So
it wasn't working to begin with.
All right. Well, thanks for the feedback. Oh, go ahead.
There's a lot more
Jeff.
there, by the way. I should just mention there are paragraphs more to go.
No, it's the forgiveness is in those that have been wronged. They hold all the cards. It doesn't even require the person who's done the offending to ask. Just you're in your, like, people could come to you and be like, I already forgave you.
Yeah.
Dude, we're all good. Like, our relationship is good.
Yeah.
I don't need you to do anything for me to forgive you.
It might help though.
Right.
And it will help with reconciliation, which is the cousin of forgiveness. Where if two parties come together and like, hey, I'm sorry, let me make this right. And the person's like, I already forgave you, but they're like, let me make this right. And that can restore and heal a relationship in a way that reconciles, which is different than forgiveness. I.e., we mentioned, like, if somebody's dead or out of the picture that wronged you and you're struggling with that and that's weighing on you, it's poisoning you until you can forgive something that you can't reconcile with. So there's like a Venn diagram there somehow. I don't know I'm not mathing that right now, but
I just immediately thought that this was like the country cousin. Like, hey man, I know you forgive me. We got to make this right. Come on. You and me are going hunting.
I'm not ready for that, Andy.
No, come on.
I'm not ready.
I got a hold of a NASCAR. We can do this together. It'll make things better. Trust me.
Wait, it's a NASCAR. I like to think that's an actual brand of car.
NASCAR.
It's a NASCAR.
I got me a NASCAR.
Wait, what type of car?
It's a NASCAR. Trust me. We're going on the oval tomorrow. I booked Talladega for the two of us. Things will be better.
I love that.
Oh, man. Do you want to land it or do you want to go one more? We're at 108.
The landing gear is coming down.
We're really at just under an hour because the first 8 to 9 minutes are going to be gone because Jeff snuck that up behind us.
Okay. Hey,
and pressed record.
You never know. You can find a golden nugget in the
That is a
9
possibility,
minutes.
but I don't think
sometimes
in
you find a turd, and that's what we found tonight.
Yeah.
Well, we found. Well, I'll let Zach go over that 9 minutes. I'm gonna let you go over that 9 minutes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's a good. There's some moments. There's some moments.
You know, some say there was no moments.
Your Trump has gotten so much better.
Thank you. It's not great, but
mine's
it's better.
gotten worse.
Yeah,
I think it's from the drinking for 5 years straight.
Yeah,
could be.
You know what they say is if you wear a helmet during skiing, your Trump impressions maintain so much better.
Some say. All right.
I'm only harassing you about the helmet Because I love you, Jeff. I fucking love you. And I want you to be around. You know? There you go.
What's that? The Dan Band, who's in what's that movie? And I need you more than ever. I fucking need you more tonight.
Yeah, what is
Wait, is that from the
it was
end
a
of
band
Hangover?
in a movie.
Wait,
There's
is
a
that the
band
end
in a
of
movie, and
Hangover?
they're called the Dan Band. And
Is it
they're
old
like,
school or Hangover?
It might be. It's one of the.
I
It's
think
old
so.
school. I think
I
it's
don't
old
think
school.
it's Hangover.
I think it's old school. It's and they're like the wedding band, and they start out like singing.
You're right.
Total Eclipse of My Heart, and it's all sweet and stuff. Or maybe that's it. Whatever.
No. Adam, wait, is it Adam Sandler?
I don't know. It's in that. It's
It's the same guy who does
It's in
that
that-
stuff at the end of all kinds of movies.
Yeah,
I think it's most of Sandler
and
movies.
it starts out normal, and then
Right.
he ramps up, and he's like, "I fucking need you more than ever." And everyone's like, "Whoa,
But for emphasis.
whoa!" He's really ramping this one up. Oh, and I don't hate it.
You know?
Yeah.
Time and place.
I really
Dan
don't.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate your cussing, Andy, on our podcast.
Your face says something else.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, you
That
just
face.
said so many words with your eyes that I do not appreciate.
Someone told me today in a church meeting that my expressions were saying a lot. I was like, "Oh shoot, what was I saying with my expression?"
You had resting dick face.
Is that the dude version?
I was trying to be like non. What's the word? I was trying to say resting bitch face.
We'll edit
It
that
just
out.
made me wonder how many times and how many meetings I've been like, "The fuck is this guy talking about?" That's not right. This guy's an idiot.
You can't do that.
He's stupid.
Yeah,
No.
that's okay. No,
No.
you're deeply thinking about stuff.
It was deeply thinking, but I think it was like it came across as deeply thinking. Like,
This guy's an idiot.
what is this person? What are they saying? I don't know. No, it wasn't that. It was more like the person responded and just said it did look like a more sincere thinking deeply about what the person was saying, not like
Right.
they're saying something stupid. It was just, do I agree with this? And I'm totally fine. And if that person was aware that I was in this meeting and disagreeing with them with my face, I would be totally fine with them knowing that I was disagreeing with them with my face, because I probably then disagreed with them with my mouth afterward. But I don't think I did. I did think
Yeah.
deeply about it.
You know, and
But should you have a poker face? Do you think that's... Is a poker face biblical?
in your defense, you may have you may put off something with your face, but when asked, you will directly.
Okay,
You're not going to beat around the bush.
we're doing best poker face. Andy, you ready? At your camera.
Okay, wait, what's the thing that we're going to react to?
I don't know.
No, we need something to react to for the poker face. Okay, I'll come up with something. Ready? Are you ready?
Large gorilla balls. Large gorilla balls. that. Oh shoot. Okay. Zach, large gorilla balls.
Am I supposed to look directly? I can't do fucking eyebrows like Andy.
You just need one eyebrow.
I can't do one. Okay. Jeff, hold on. I'm going to give you one.
No, you gave it away. Oh, you're reacting too much. You should have seen them before. Act like
Okay,
you've seen them before.
Actually, which he has. Maybe that's why he's
You
reacting
have
the
seen
way
them
he is.
before.
He
Wait,
can't
and
conceal it.
What's the context you've seen them before?
Mm.
That's what makes me worry. Context matters.
Jeff, spontaneous worship is neither worship nor spontaneous. Discuss. Poker face.
You didn't know what you just said.
Yeah.
That's the face of...
I don't know what you just said.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, let's land this. And maybe I feel like the thing you mentioned before we started recording
We'll talk about... Let me
is
form that
very
into
is
a...
very deep and worth a little more time.
Yeah, let's form that into more of another podcast. I think that'd be good. But, dude, it's if no one else listens to this podcast, I'm glad that we get a chance to be together and like talk about stuff that's a little more interesting and a little more deep than what's on our calendar. And if Amazon happened to drop things off on time when they said they would versus when they actually did, like I'm glad to be with you guys in this space to have some beers. And
Excellent.
it's a secondary benefit to like record this and put it out, and hopefully, I don't know. I always wonder this, like if this is anytime we hear from somebody else, like, hey, this is helpful. I liked hearing this. I liked something that you said stuck with me and made me think about it. Or I'm just glad to know that there's guys that are having conversations about stuff that really matters. It's not just surface level. Like, and that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I love it. And I am here for you guys. Jeff, you producing, your fingering is getting so good, Jeff.
I can't do this anymore, I don't think.
Jeff, I really appreciate it. And I just want
to go through and beep
shaking.
everything
I
out.
just want to emphasize that Jeff fingers like a mofo. I don't know why I just censored mofo, but some do. Oh, nope.
Some do.
Some do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which 2 fingers? Really?
I regret that instantly.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Rest in peace, cussing pastor. You're not the cussing pastor. You're in the arms of the Savior that says, well done, my good and faithful servant.
From the Cussing Podcast.
From the Cussing Podcast.
We're going to edit all of this out.
Far away from here. I actually don't know how to do vibrato.
You have to fake it a little bit.
Well, what's doing it real? How do you do it?
I feel like some people that do it really well are faking it.
What's the difference?
I don't know, but some people aren't faking it.
If you're doing
It's
it
natural.
well, or if you're not doing it. Wait, if you're doing it well and you're faking it, or you're doing it well and you're not faking it, you're still doing it well. What's the difference?
There's no difference to the listener, but only you know.
Where does the vibrato come from?
Your fake vibrato is full of shit, and you know it, but nobody else does.
Where
if you're
does it
good.
come from? Where does the real vibrato come from?
Honestly, I don't know because
No one knows.
No, it's unknowable. I never had it. I'm not a great singer.
Wait, is this
I can hit a pitch. I can do harmonies decently, maybe even above average.
You guys, next week's barbershop podcast is going to be awesome. Can't wait for it.
Bros, Bibles, and
Barbershops, Bibles, and beer.
All right, let's get out of here.
Okay, we still got some more beer to drink.
Tell us why you hate us.
Okay, thank you for making it all the way through. The things that matter to us, it does genuinely matter to us. Like and subscribe.
You said some really heartfelt things, and I care about that, and I love that you said that, and I agree with you. I care about these conversations. I sort of did shit on it I did my bit.
It didn't bother me.
I did the bit.
No,
okay.
no, it didn't bother me. It's okay.
He forgives you.
Okay.
I already forgave you.
We have a mediator in Jesus Christ. Jeff is the mediator, the propitiator of our sins.
Doing the best I can.
Jeff Shua. I said it the right way, didn't I? Did I say it the right way?
All right, let's
Jeff
get out of
Shua. Okay, so anyway, thank you, listener. It means a lot to us when you like and subscribe. Whether we like it or not, that this drives algorithms, and so it makes a difference, and it helps the podcast grow. And we do care about having these conversations. That's first and foremost, and that they're meaningful to you. But if it's meaningful to you, we hope it would be meaningful to other people. So like and subscribe. And then the one thing that we ask every single week is like, if you can, share this with one other person. Send it to them directly if you think that it's something that would be interesting to them, that they would resonate with and find important.
Yeah. Or even if they would hate it. If they would hate it and they could put it as a part of their rage.
Hate
porn.
watching.
Yes, hate watch. We'll take that too.
Yeah, and we're interested in it. Obviously, like we read the comments that are people that agree with us and don't agree with us, and I think maybe sometimes the don't agrees are more interesting than, those that do agree.
Especially if they're thoughtful.
Yeah, be thoughtful, and we will try to be thoughtful and try to not be pedantic like Zach is being pedantic and hung up on stupid details that don't matter.
Yep.
But if you want to email us, you can do that.
Wait, why would you say that?
brosbiblesbeer@gmail. You said it. brosbiblesbeer@gmail.com. Speakpipe.com/BBBpod if you want. No, /bros.
Yes.
It's been a while. No one sends us a voicemail. But if you want to send us a voicemail,
They have. Quaid sent us a voicemail.
Oh, Quaid sent us 2 voicemails. I haven't heard from Quaid in a while.
Hey, Dave Millsap, send us a voicemail, and it locks you to a minute. If you can get your thoughts into a minute, then you can get them all out.
Speakpipe.com/bros.
I love how long your comments are, but we can't read them all.
And then my brother-in-law, Scott, who always will send me a text on every single episode. Almost not every single episode. Every once in a while, episodes.
Love
something
Scott.
Something that he will that sticks out to him that he likes, which is really cool. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Scott. And you should send us a voicemail. That would be good. And we will play those on the air, unedited. But for Jeff, Zach, I'm Andy. Grace.
Peace.
Cheers. Cha-ching.
It's a NASCAR. I think that's an actual brand of car.
NASCAR.
It's a NASCAR.
I got me a NASCAR.